How we
All
doing?
right,
I'm great. How are you guys?
We're chilling.
good. Where are you at right now?
We're in Pittsburgh right now.
Mhm.
We have one more game on a 9-day road trip, so kind of looking forward to getting back to Boston.
Oh yeah, I bet you're gonna do
Yeah,
great.
when we're on the road, we're not really allowed to do a whole lot, so the days get really long. We're really not allowed to leave the hotel, and it snowed 3 days straight in Buffalo, so looking forward to getting back home.
I bet. I bet. All right, so we're actually gonna start off with a little speed round of questions for you. So we're just gonna fire them off, and you just answer quick to the best of your ability.
Perfect.
All right. So, what is your favorite team and player growing up?
Toronto was always my favorite team, and Joe Sakic and Martin St. Louis were my favorite players.
Two
And I
legends.
got to play against Marty St. Louis and one of the first games, and I told him, I was, "Hey man, you're my favorite player." And then I speared him.
That's dope. That's dope. I have another question for you. It's a big,
Yeah.
big one. What's your favorite Boston bar?
Oh man. I mean, when I go, I like to go to. I don't go it often, but Grand.
Nice, nice. All right, next one. Who's one player you've always wanted to play with?
I guess I would have liked to play with Crosby and McKinnon. They're both really good players, and I guess they're in the league now. But I would have loved to play with Mira Lemieux
Mm.
from the past.
To another legend right there, Lemieux.
Yeah.
Question here. I like this one. Besides yourself, of course, who is the best trash talker in the NHL?
Drew Doughty in LA is really funny, really witty, and just he's always yapping. So he's always really entertaining. I'd have to give it to him.
You're definitely the best one, though.
Yeah, I mean, he's second, right? Talking after me.
All right, what's your biggest pet peeve?
In life or like on the ice?
Both.
I don't know why I asked that because I really don't know what my biggest pet peeve is. But on the ice, I think it's when guys I don't even know. That's a tough one. I don't like arrogant people off ice. I don't, and I guess on ice too. Guys that I think are arrogant, I really have a hard time with.
Understandable. Another question here. What is your hype song before the game?
The one that I got into, I like Drake a lot. So Back to Back was one that, and then now, I mean, you guys college kids. Have you guys? Do you know the song "Fuck You"? It's a rap song. It's a new one out, but we've been playing that a lot in the room, and that one I enjoy.
Nice. All right.
Sorry.
One is what's your favorite movie?
I like the Ninja Turtles always by far number one, but The Patriot and Gladiator are my two top movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard of those, to be honest, but
Really? You never heard of Gladiator?
never heard of the latter now.
I believe
Gladiator?
that I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
Hey man, you gotta watch it. It's unbelievable.
All right, I have to put it
Worth a
down.
watch. Yeah.
I'm gonna note that one down. Cool question here. What was your favorite fan sign of all time?
uh, favorite fan sign? Um, uh, there was one. I'm gonna keep it PG. There was one in Tampa during the All-Star game. I took a picture with it. It had something to do with me being a rat, but it ended up being a good picture and got a lot of attention.
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
It said exterminate the rat, and you repose right.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was. Exterminate the rat, and I thought I got a good chuckle out of it, so I had to acknowledge it.
You seemed happy.
Yeah,
You were
you think it's
smiling in the
funny
photo.
too.
Yeah, I thought it was entertaining, and like that was a situation where we could have some fun and you can interact with the fans. So I had to do that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Which NHL player would you want to fight the most?
I mean, if he was still playing, Tom's mechanic. I've never liked him, and I've been open about that. So if he was still in the league, him.
Personally, anyone in the Canadians deserves to get fought. So,
Yeah.
another question here for you quickly. This might go kind of into one of the questions earlier, but what's the best chirp you've ever heard?
I mean, one that got me. I even laughed at it at the time. We were in Carolina, and this guy named Eric Cole. It was one of my first years in the league, and he wasn't like. It caught me off guard because I thought guys talk all the time on the ice. And he kind of looked over at me and he was like, "Hey." I was like, "Hey, what's up?" He was like, "Hey, how do the hot dogs smell?" And I thought it was a pretty witty joke. I laughed at it. Obviously, going after my big nose. But, yeah, you get it?
Yeah, I was wondering. I was thinking.
He's saying what he was insinuating is that I could smell the hot dogs from the ice from, up in the canteen. So I thought it was pretty funny. I had a good chuckle at that.
Pretty hardcore question right here, but Tim Thomas or Tuukka Rask?
Who? I mean, I got to go with Tukes. He's our goalie, right? Can't go against him, but doesn't mean I don't love Timmy.
Both phenomenal players, obviously.
Yeah, a good 1-2 punch.
Okay, lastly, we have to ask you this one question. Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
One horse-sized duck or 100 duck? I'd rather fight a horse-sized duck for sure.
Come on.
I would love to see a horse-sized duck.
It'd be interesting.
It would be, yeah.
You can
like horses.
All the little ones, though.
I like horses, though. I don't want to fight a horse.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So before we continue, quickly, we're going to send out like a quick poll just to kind of gauge how many of you guys are watching out here. So if you wouldn't mind just clicking whatever answer suits you the best, that would be extremely appreciated. And I thank you for that.
All right. And so now we're going to get into some questions that were sent in from the UNH students themselves for you. So first one of those is, besides winning the cup in 2011, what would you say your favorite moment has been in your career?
I think I have two. I like, for me, I signed an 8-year deal with Boston, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. And for me, like, that was a huge moment for me because it kind of solidified everything I'd worked towards my whole life. For the team to extend me for that long, it just showed that they wanted me here for a long time, and it's where I wanted to be. And that was a huge, really rewarding moment for myself. And then in 2016, I played for Team Canada for the World Cup. Mm-hmm. And that was, for me, like, I think it kind of propelled me to the next level of my career, where I was confident. I always thought I was a good player, but being part of that group, just, that was a whole new stage for me, and, allowed me to feel like I was part of that elite group in the NHL. And it was a team that I had never thought that I ever had the potential of making. So when it became a reality and, a potential opportunity, it was pretty, that was by far the second best thing that I've been able to go through.
Yeah, that's good.
Or be part of, I guess.
Bees would not be bees without you. So
I can't imagine where I'd be without them. Probably in a ditch somewhere.
I was going to ask, 2016 is when you guys won the gold, right?
Yeah. We won that, and we played Team Europe. So like Chara and Seidenberg and Halak were on that team. So I mean, they were really good. They were stacked. It was a good tournament.
Awesome. Another question is, how much of an impact did veterans like Recchi, Aginla, and Yager provide for cup runs?
Yeah, Recchi for sure. Rex is a guy that he's played one of the most games in the NHL. He is one of the highest scoring players ever to play, and his leadership is incredible. I wish I would have got to play with him longer. I only played with him 1 year. He retired after we after we won. But you know, the moments where we really needed a leader step up, he was always there, and just an incredible guy. Same with Iginla. He was an unreal teammate. Same thing. He was more on the ice, like showed through example than by talking. Rex talked more, but both were, you could tell why they're such dominant players in the league, and their drive and how they took care of themselves. It was impressive to watch. Yogs was a little different. He was just kind of on his own page, and I wouldn't necessarily call him a leader. He was just kind of there. He was at the end of his career, kind of doing his own thing. So, but definitely again, and Breck here, two of the best leaders I've ever seen.
I always feel bad. Whenever I think of Jerome Iginla, I always feel like, you know, he should have got the cup, and he never did. And
I know, you know, and it's funny because a guy like that, who's one of the best players to ever play, you want him to have that success. I mean, I wish we would have been able to get it for him, but you know, that's how it goes. Some guys play their whole career and don't get an opportunity, and some guys win a few. So that's part of it all.
You have one, so I mean, you already one upped him.
Yeah, but hopefully it's not the last one. Still chasing another.
Always.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right, next one. How weird was it to play games in an empty stadium, like due to COVID?
It was so weird. You couldn't get up for the games. You know, like when you go out for a game with fans in a crowd, like you instantly get an adrenaline boost. You know, even from warm-ups where there's like maybe 25% of people there, and then you come into the game and it's full stadium. I mean, you get excited, you get amped up, especially when they're loud, and you know, you score a goal, there's momentum swing, a big hit, a fight, or whatever. But then when you're in the bubble, like you would score a big goal and you could hear a pin drop. Like we scored a goal with like a minute left against Tampa in the playoffs in like game 1 or 2, and like you could hear literally a pin drop, and it was the weirdest thing I've ever been through. And like you just couldn't get up for a game, and almost felt like it was a practice. So I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is, and we still got to play. But it was, even now, like we went to Buffalo the other day, and they didn't have any fans in the crowd in the first game we were there, and we've had them in every other building.
Yeah. And
even going back to it now, it was really, really odd. It's just almost depressing at this point. But so I mean, yeah, it's exciting when we see the fans again. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's good that they at least have like a little bit of people allowed in. Like, you
know, even like I think a lot of places have 25% of people capacity, so it's at like 4,000 or 5,000 people, if that, 3,000 or 4,000, and it's actually a lot louder than you would think it would be. Maybe it's because we haven't had fans in so long, but it's awesome having people back in there and just seeing people. I mean, you know, it's like you guys are all going through it too. You don't get to see anybody anywhere anymore, and so just seeing people's a treat.
For sure.
For sure. I have another question here. Jack Edwards and Andy Brickley are the play-by-play announcers for the Bruins on Nessen. How close are you with them, and do you have any funny stories with them or about them?
I mean, I don't really have any funny stories about them. We don't really interact with them a lot. Even now, like I haven't seen them in a long time. They used to travel with us on our plane. So we'd see them and just pretty much on the plane when we would travel to a city. Once we got to the cities and stuff, we really don't see them at all. But yeah, I mean, I haven't seen them in over a year. So I don't know when they'll be coming back. I guess when everything's back to normal, but we miss them. I mean, Brick's a great guy. He's just so chill and easygoing, and Jack's always hyped up. You know, he's a special guy if you've seen him call it at all. But yeah, I really haven't interacted a ton with them over the years. Like I said, we don't see them that much.
All right, next one. What's your most memorable on ice Smackdown?
I think my fight with Subban was probably my, you know, it was one of the more entertaining ones I've been a part of. And I guess if you kind of look back at it, it wasn't just a fight, but we tried to fight. That was like the third or fourth time in like 3 or 4 shifts that we tried to fight it. We tried to fight once and the rest broke it up. And then we go to the box, try to do it again. They broke it up. We got another penalty. and then we came out the third time and finally were able to fight. But so I think just the whole lead up to it, and then he was playing for Montreal at the time, and the Boston-Montreal rivalry, and then I mean he's a sick player, so a lot of people really disliked him, and the fans wanted somebody to fight him for a long time. So that was a pretty cool one that I was part of.
I was gonna say a lot of people want to get their hands on him.
Yeah, they do. I mean, even now, like people still say it. You got to give him a lot of credit. He's a great player and has been for a while, and that's why people don't like him.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I remember when he was kind of young in Montreal, I was looking at him like, oh, he's so confident. And I saw you kind of
he is.
Down,
Yeah. I mean, that's what makes a lot of the top players. Their confidence is just above everyone else's, and they're able to do things that other guys won't even try. So yeah, he's definitely a guy that you wanted to go after.
Of course. So I think this is a pretty cool question. What's it like during playoff season, and how do you keep your composure?
It's tough. Playoffs gets long because you kind of shut everyone off from the outside. Even your families, you kind of keep them at a distance. A lot of years we'll spend even at home, we'll stay in a hotel, just so a lot of guys have kids and families, and they're able to keep everybody together, keep outside distractions. Playoff time, everybody wants tickets, and families always coming to town, and friends are always coming to town. And you get pulled directions, especially when we go far. So they try to keep us really confined. And like I said, you kind of shut off everything other than hockey. And then we go on the road for, a week at a time, most series. And so you're traveling a lot. You don't see your family and you don't see any friends. A lot of the dinners are team dinners and stuff like that. So it's kind of like right now, we're not allowed to see anybody now, but it's stressful. I mean, there's a lot on the line, especially when you're a contending team and expect you to win. I mean, you feel the pressure from all the fans in the city. You're walking around and everybody's obviously supporting you, but there's a lot of pressure to win. And obviously you only get so many chances, and we know that, we understand the situation we're in where, maybe in your career, you might get 2 or 3 chances to actually have a team where you might win. And you want to make the most of that. So, you don't want to mess that up either. So there's a lot riding, and it does get stressful at times, but I mean, it's the best time of year to have good weather and to be able to play into June. The city's always bumping during playoff time. It's sick, and everyone's out and about, and so it's a lot of fun. But yeah, it can be stressful and a lot of distractions on the outside, but you just try to limit it and try to turn your phone off at nighttime and try to, only keep in contact with your closest people. And like I said, just try to limit, where everyone's trying to get you to do. So, but it's a fun time of year.
Definitely. I can't imagine the pressure you must feel. Like, I can't even imagine being a professional athlete and having all that pressure of a city, like, counting on you. But, like, you do so great every time.
Oh, thank you. Well, you know what? The funny, like, the most pressure I think I've ever felt was Game 7 against Vancouver. And I remember walking down to dinner or to breakfast in the morning. We played at 5, so we didn't go to the rink in the morning. We just went down for breakfast, and there was lunch. You can kind of go out for lunch or breakfast whenever you want. And other than that, you're on your own. And we typically had meetings in the morning. We didn't have any meetings. And I walked down and, like, nobody said a word. Like, it was as if, like, you could just feel the tension everybody had, and like the amount of stress that was going on in each guy, and like, guys would just be sitting by themselves at different tables, and it was a pretty crazy feeling. But obviously that one worked out.
Very much.
And then obviously we lost in 2019 at home, and we were in Game 7 and kind of felt the same way. But it was weird because we're at home, and like, everybody had hundreds of people in town because there's potential we're going to win. And that extra pressure, it's almost better to be on the road when you're in that situation, because you don't have the pressure of everyone else being there and wanting to be there. And it's stressful, but it's a good situation to be in.
Yeah. Do you think you, Passa, and Bergie are the best line in the league?
I mean, we're good. I'm not going to say that we're the best, but I mean, we're a good line. There's no question. I think that Landeskog, McKinnon, and Renton and line in Colorado, they're a really tough line to play. But there's a lot of good lines. But I mean, we do okay. We do okay.
You do pretty decent. Yeah, I can see that.
I might have brag, but we're good.
So I kind of want to stay on like the kind of playoff theme that we have going on with my questions at least. What are your thoughts on the comeback that you made of Sagan Bergie against Toronto in 2013?
And that was one of the craziest games I've ever been part of. I remember like we knew we were supposed to go far in that playoffs. I think we finished ahead of Toronto. And I remember when they scored that fourth goal, like you looked at their bench, they just thought it was over. And we were obviously like, we were pretty down. It was a tough situation to be in. But when we got that second goal and made it 4-2, you just knew like there was enough time and we had the team that can come back in that situation. And like, that is still like when I see Toronto fans and when I talk to people I know like everybody back home is a Toronto fan and everybody still talks about that game, how much of a heartbreaker it was. And, that was one of the coolest games to ever be part of. Rarely do you come back from a 3-goal deficit in playoffs, let alone in game 7 and, end it in overtime like that. It was pretty incredible game to be part of.
The energy after each goal, I remember I was watching a video on later, and you got the energy after you guys were just off the rails for it, and it was
when we scored that fourth goal there, a minute left or whatever it was, like the building, like I'm surprised the roof didn't pop off. It was crazy. Like I think I'm still deaf in one ear from that. It was awesome.
My God, I would have loved to be there. That would have been sick.
Yeah, right. I got so drunk that night.
I can't imagine.
Oh my God, yeah. Good times.
All right. What are your pregame rituals?
I don't really have rituals. Like I don't like to call them that. Like I have a routine that I just kind of got comfortable with. I'm pretty easygoing. Like if something changes, I don't really care. Like there's guys that I've played with where like this one guy I played with, he broke his arm and he had to put everything in his right pocket. And he couldn't use his left pocket for some reason. And he broke his right hand. So he was like putting everything in his right pocket with his left hand. And like, if you've ever tried to do that, it's impossible. Yeah. So I don't know, that guys like that bother me, but I mean, I'm simple. Like I like to eat the same food. Like I have like fish and sweet potatoes and broccoli on game day. And I like to sleep for like 45 minutes to an hour in the afternoon and, have a coffee from the same place. So typical stuff. I don't get too overboard with it because you start to mess with your head. And
yeah,
you can't be consistent enough all the time. There's too many variables, between the cities we go and stuff like that. So I'm pretty simple.
Mm-hmm. Nothing crazy.
No.
So I've been looking forward to, saying this. So this goes off of you are an elite player, not a question. Just recognize that you're filthy. You have a fan over here at UNH says you're filthy.
Oh, thank you. Like dirty or like good?
I mean,
what way are we taking that here?
We need some clarification on that. I mean, you look pretty. You look dressed nice. All cleaned up.
Yeah, they told me how to dress up and take a shower and bathe myself. So it's been a while.
Would you rather be in sweats and stuff?
I am in sweats actually. I'm doing that old, dress up from the top up kind of thing. Shorts on in the bottom.
It's okay. James isn't in his underwear.
Prove it.
I'm the master of these Zoom classes. Just no pants. It's okay.
Yeah, I can't blame you. Might as well get comfy.
Get comfy. I mean, teacher can't see you.
Yeah, I can't see.
Never.
All right.
If you get up, just treat them.
Yeah.
All right. What's your early impression on the new teammates acquired at the deadline?
They're great. they bring a lot of depth that we needed. They're all great guys off the ice, which I think is one thing that our team does a really good job of. And we know this, like before they get anybody, they care more about their character in the room and who they are off the ice than what they bring up on the ice. That's secondary. They're not going to fit in the room. They're not coming here. We have a really good group. It's something that we take a lot of pride in, like being really close and being good players and good guys and having good work ethic. And they all have that. But they're all great players on the ice too. So, I mean, they're going to hopefully help propel us to that next level and make us a cup contender. But, so far they've all done a really good job. They've been producing and fitting in really well. And it's not easy coming to a new team and jumping in and being expected to produce like that. But they've handled it really well and they're fitting in the group great. So we're lucky to have them.
Yeah. It's always good to have the good connection right off the ice instead of just on the ice.
Yeah, it is. And I think they've all played with guys before on our group, which makes the transition a little easier. And, we had heard that they were all good guys before they got here. So, it's been good.
That's good.
One name I was excited when he joined you guys was Taylor Hall. I remember him, Edmonton, the New Jersey. And then I kind of just didn't hear about him, but I saw he signed with you guys again. He's been playing pretty well for you guys.
Yeah, he's a stud. He won MVP of the league a couple of years back, and he had a pretty big surgery that took a while to heal up. But he's nasty. He's been a great player for a long time, and he's just fun to watch. Like, even in practice today, some of the stuff he does is just, again, stuff that I would never even think to try, and he's just so gifted. So we're lucky to have him. Hopefully he sticks around and we can keep him, but time will tell.
Yeah, he's definitely proven himself to be a good asset to the Bruins these past couple of games too.
He is. Yeah, he's really gifted. He can make plays, he scores, he works hard, and he's an awesome dude off the ice. So we're happy to have him.
Yeah.
Would you say he's filthy because you got called filthy in the South?
Yeah, he's filthy.
He's filthy? Okay.
Yeah, he's a dirty dog.
Oh, man. So sticking with kind of this vibe here, how was the celebration after you won the cup in 2011? Do you have any crazy stories?
Yeah, it was. So that whole summer is pretty much a blur, to be honest with you. It was, I got kicked out of the city. Like, they called me, I don't know, maybe a week or 10 days after, and they're like, man, you got to go home. Like,
oh my God.
Making a fool of you. Yeah. Like, cause we were going hard every night, and there was like pictures coming out and everything that I don't think the team was too happy about. So yeah, eventually they're just like, you're like, enough, you got to go.
This is
go do this somewhere else.
In the club.
What?
When you were dancing in a club or something, or in a bar.
Yeah, but that was just like one of many. There was a lot
of
ones that, and it just, we were doing what any 22, 23-year-olds or whatever would do after you just, won a trophy. So yeah, we the one thing I wish we would have done was like gone on a trip somewhere as a group. Teams started to, we went to Foxwoods, which is awesome, but a lot of teams now like go to Vegas or something like that. So we'll do that if we win again, hopefully. But yeah, it was incredible, just like what we were able to do. And they basically just kind of had free reign to kind of do kind of anything and celebrate, and the opportunities that kind of came up from that. Even just going to like a Sox game and going out on the field and going on a duck boat with a million people out, which was crazy. See that many people there. And I think I got a concussion. Some guy threw a beer at me from like, so far away, and I missed it and got it right in the head. But it still went down the same way.
TB12 he got kind of jealous, kind of launched it at you.
Yeah, exactly. And then he just won every year after that.
Yeah. So.
All right. Who is your inspiration in wanting to play hockey?
Well, I think my dad started me early. I think I was 2 when I started. He played growing up, and that's everybody back home. That's what they do. Like, we don't, growing up, like, guys didn't play football and basketball. They played hockey in the winter and they played baseball in the summer. And that's kind of how it was. So we grew up with that mentality. And so I started on skates really early and loved it. And always played ball hockey every day or whatever, just, typical stuff. I just loved it. So I played it all the time. And, but he got me into it early and then just kept going because I loved it after that.
That's good. And look at you now.
I'm gonna say,
Yeah, thank God.
I think things turned out real well.
Yeah, I got lucky.
Not bad, not bad.
So this kind of goes in hand with kind of a question I asked earlier. I asked you what your favorite Boston bar was, but now I'm going to ask you what your drink of choice at the bar is.
If they have root beer, I go Captain and root beer. Otherwise, I'll go like Captain straight up or Captain and Coke, something like that. I like Captain though; it goes down easy.
I'm 19, so I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. How does life in the NHL differ for young players versus older players with families?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think when you're younger, you eat up the attention and like the connections and everything that you get, the opportunities that you have that, maybe you wouldn't. I mean, you're young and obviously you are presented with a lot of different situations that, you're not outside of the NHL and you kind of go anywhere and do anything. I mean, if you want to meet any artist or actor or whatever, like you can go backstage or, you walk around city and everyone, people want to take pictures and autographs and stuff like that. Like you eat that up as a young guy, especially coming in where maybe people didn't know you before and then they start to recognize you. Like it's fun and it's exciting. And like I said, it creates a lot of really cool opportunities. But then as you get older and, you get married, you have kids or whatever, like that can take away from some of the enjoyment that you're, that you want to experience with your kids. Like, for instance, I went to a fair one time with my kids and we had to leave because it was just, I was getting swarmed. Like my kids couldn't even go on a ride or, we couldn't play a game and, throw darts at the balloons or whatever. Stuff like that where, I wouldn't trade it for anything. It comes with territory and I'll never be upset about that, but it's just unfortunate that, I would like to be able to go and experience being at a fair with my kids, and not have to leave kind of thing. So, it's a small price to pay, but that's one of the things where I think as you get older and then obviously my wife doesn't like if I'm at a bar and, the attention that comes with it and stuff like that. So it changes over the course of time based on, what's going on in your life and the relationships that you have at that time.
That is so unfortunate though, how you can't go anywhere without if you want to have a normal family experience.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. Like that doesn't happen everywhere that I go. Right. But there are places where, we do have to leave and, we can't go because of stuff like that. But again, it's going to stop at some point. And
yeah,
you know what I mean? Once you're done, people forget about you really quick. So Ray Bork, when I was 19, before I made it, I had dinner with Ray Bork, Phil Esposito, Hurricane Carter, who's a big boxer, and Pete Rose, one of the best baseball players ever. And Ray told me at that dinner, he was like, make sure that every fan that you meet, every person that wants an autograph, and take it in and enjoy it, because like you said, when you're retired, people forget about you really quick and they don't want that anymore, and you're going to want it when it's over. So I've tried to, I've always tried to remember that and take that in. Again, I'm not going to complain about it. It's just, it is what it is.
That dinner must have been awesome. Phil Esposito, Ray Bork.
It was crazy. Just an insane experience.
You said you were 19 when that happened?
Yeah, I was at a charity dinner. I don't know how I got invited to this thing. But it was the four of those guys were some of the biggest athletes to ever play professional sports. And then I had just finished playing with Team Canada for World Juniors and we had won. So it was in my town, or the town that I grew up in, not my town, but town I grew up in. And I don't know if they just wanted like a local guy to be there too, but they called me, invited me. So I got to sit and have dinner with those guys all night. And it was insane.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sick. So I have another question here, and I think this is like my favorite question, if I'm gonna be honest. What is your opinion on Tom Wilson?
You know what? I like Tom as a player. I really do. Like, I wish he was on our team. He's really effective. He plays really hard. If he was on our team, everybody in Boston would love him. He's just one of those guys. He kind of does it all. He's tough. He's big. He plays hard. He can make plays. He can score. But it's just, we don't like him because obviously he hit Carlo hard there and hurt him. And he's hard to play against. But I think he's a great player, and I'd love to have him on our team.
I like watching the Caps, so
yeah, he's a good player. He's really effective. I got to give him credit. He's effective.
All right. What age do you plan on playing until? And also, do you plan on retiring as a Bruin?
I do plan on retiring as a Bruin. Yeah. I couldn't ever imagine playing for another team. I mean, I know it's very, very rare that somebody plays their entire career with one team, but excuse me. I mean, I'm hoping that I can make that happen. And I want to play as long as I feel like I'm still producing. Like, if I can be effective and I'm still a good player, I don't want to play if I'm not any good anymore. You know, if I shouldn't be playing, I'm still just trying to skate around, and I wouldn't be able to do that. I wouldn't be happy not being good anymore. So if I ever, I'm not able to keep up, then I'm gonna have to shut it down. But I hope that's not for a long time.
What was that?
I hope that's not for a long time, though.
Oh yeah, no, hopefully not.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, you're not gonna pull a Yager?
No, I mean, I don't know how that guy does it. Like, I just know from how hard it is to play now. I don't know. I'm like maybe 33, almost 33, and he's like almost 50. I couldn't imagine doing that. But got to give him credit. He's still doing it. He's in Czech right now playing, and still scoring.
It's productive.
Yeah.
So I have a question here. Do you have a set stick handling moves that you use in certain situations, or do you improvise based on what the defense is giving you?
I think I've learned to do certain things based on where D-men are in certain situations. I don't ever go to an opponent and say I'm going to do this. I just think like now it's instinctive where I see a guy, to my right, and I try to do something on the left side, or if he's a right-handed versus left-handed shot, maybe I'll try to do something different. But I think it's more like learning how to position myself where I can get away from a guy. I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned how to do. Sometimes I just black out and things happen. But yeah, I think it's more just understanding and learning where the open ice is and just trying to get there.
Makes sense. Favorite hockey memory of all time?
I'm gonna go away from like me playing, but I think when I was like 13 or 14, they had the World Juniors in my hometown, and I got to go there and watch those guys play, and a lot of them were guys that I ended up playing with or against in the NHL. And Ovechkin was actually on the Russian team, and I remember thinking like that was the most incredible hockey. I couldn't imagine being like, there was some 17 or 18-year-old kids in that team, and I couldn't imagine being 18 and picture myself on that team. So it was pretty cool to see like what that was like at 13 or 14, because then 4 or 5 years later I played on that team, and I could never have imagined that 4 years before that. But it's pretty cool. And then like Ovi at the time, they were all talking about him, that he was going to go first overall and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool to be able to see him play before he was in the NHL.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We got one last question of the section here. If you could play a professional sport other than hockey, what would it be?
I'd probably play baseball because those guys don't do anything and they make bank. I mean, they hit the lottery there. And you get to be in nice, warm weather all the time. You know, it's just.
That's true.
Yeah.
Instead of on the ice, cold.
Yeah, or golf. Either one. Something simple and easy.
Yeah. Good one. All right, so we're gonna get into the live chat section of this now. Students, you can feel free to send any questions you have in the Q&A, and we'll do our best to get to at least a good number of them. There are so many in here. All right, so first one is from Emily. What is the story behind the number on your jersey?
All right, yeah. So I was drafted in 2006 in the 3rd round. And so at the time, around those years, they would just give you the year you were drafted would be the first number, and then the round you were drafted was the second number. So I was drafted in 2006 in the 3rd round, so 63. And then, so actually a cool story is my best friend, ever since I was 12, his name's Andy Bondarchuk. He lived on my street, only a couple doors down. We played on all the same hockey teams growing up. Literally, we were together every single day. We were in all the same classes at school growing up. We were both went from like minor hockey, and then it like got into a smaller group. We played on the same major team. Then we get drafted the same junior team. We played for Team Canada together. So, I mean, it went from just being from the small province to all of Canada playing the same team. Then we both got drafted to Boston together. So I got drafted in the 3rd round. He got drafted in the 5th round. And then before we went to Boston, we both lived in Providence, same year together. So we were roommates at Providence, and then we both played our first NHL games together. So it's pretty cool that, like, I can't imagine there's many guys that have their best friends since they were 12 come up and go through all that together. But I was 63 and he was 65, so it was pretty cool.
That is pretty crazy.
One question I've seen a couple of times kind of involve Sagan, and they've been kind of saying, are you still friends with Sagan? You guys still hang out, talk?
Yeah, I don't see him obviously right now. I haven't seen him in a long time, but typically, like, when we go to Dallas or something, then we'll go to dinner. We still talk, stuff like that. But obviously, when you're on the same team, you're a lot closer than when you're on different teams. But yeah, we had a lot of fun together.
What's one of your favorite teams to play during the NHL season?
Playing Montreal is always fun, rivalry, but I like to play Toronto. I think we have more of a rivalry with them right now than Montreal. So I just mostly because we've played them more in the playoffs the last number of years, and that's typically where a lot of the rivalries come from. So I like to play them. It's always a fun game. It's fast and competitive, and they're good. So it's always fun to be part of.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I saw is so we have someone in the chat named Caroline Marchand, and she's asking if you guys are related because her family's also from Nova Scotia. So do you have a relative you don't know of?
Well, if I don't know them, then I wouldn't know if we're related. But I mean, it's very possible that if she's a Marchand from Nova Scotia, then we're related. Hey, cuz.
Your cousin.
Is it weird playing against Z since you're used to playing the same team?
Very weird. First time we played him, like, I think we spent half the game laughing at each other because we would joke around a lot, especially the last couple of years where I got really comfortable with them. We were always joking around. So I think I just laughed at him, and we always lined up against each other for some reason. So we were always joking around on the ice, but the last couple of times the games have been a little more heated. So, he tried to punch me one game and I try to stay away from him as much as I can, but it is still weird to see him in a different color and on a different team.
Kind of sad to watch, but happy for him.
Yeah, I am. I mean, it's great that he's still playing. He's part of a really good team. Obviously they're a contending team as well. But it's still like I can't see him in another colored jersey and playing with another team and having to play against them. So it's odd.
One question that's kind of popped up a lot. Have you ever been to New Hampshire and more specifically near UNH?
Where is UNH at?
Durham, aka middle of nowhere.
Yeah. I've been to New Hampshire a lot. I hunt a lot, and so I've bounced around New Hampshire a lot, looking for hunting spots. So I've been as far hunting as like Hookset. So I don't know how far up you guys are past that, but I've spent some time at Lake Winnipesaukee doing some fishing and stuff like that.
That's cool.
Nice. What's your favorite part about Boston?
I love that it's on the water. Where I grew up is very, very similar makeup as Boston. I love that it's not too big. Like I hate New York, where I'm from, a small town. So going from there to Boston was a big change. And then now I've gotten really comfortable there where I can't stand being in New York. There's too much traffic. It's so dirty. There's too much going on. And I feel like Boston's like a great in between. There's enough there where it has everything you need or could want. Good nightlife, good restaurants. It's great to walk around and there's lots to do. And, you can be out on the water if you want. You can go down to the Cape or Nantucket or Martha's Vineyard or whatever and get away. But it's still small and it's not too stuffy. So I think it's a great city.
Jared typed in chat, and I found this interesting because I didn't know this, but he says, how did it feel to be voted NHL's dirtiest player in 2020, according to a players poll?
Yeah, I think that was probably based on what I've done in the past. The last few years, I haven't been dirty. I've really tried. It was costing me way too much money, so I had to stop. So I've been relatively clean the last number of years, but I'd say that was probably based on my early shenanigans.
Was it worth paying the fines?
Absolutely not. No, it was not. I think I'm like just shy of $1 million in fines. Yeah, those are some big mistakes.
Yeah, it's in the past. It's fine.
Yeah,
Whatever.
That'll always hurt.
All right. Who brings the best out of you while you're playing on the ice?
On my team?
Yeah.
I gotta say he does. Mostly because if I'm not playing good, I feel like I'm letting him down. Because he's always competing so hard, and I feel like he's always at the top of his game. So if I'm not right there, I feel like I'm letting him down. So I feel like I got to pull my weight when he's out there. So I'd have to say him.
What was the name you said again? Because I think you cut out.
Bergeron.
Okay, Bergie. Gotcha.
I've been seeing a couple of golf questions, but one of them I just saw is who's the best golf player on the Bees?
Butchie is actually a really good golfer. I know Wagner's a really good golfer. A lot of guys like to golf, but I think Wags might be the best. Otherwise, he claims he is. But Krejci likes to golf. Tuukka gets out a lot. So yeah, I'd have to say probably Wags.
What daily habits do you have that keep you playing year after year?
I think that I tend to try. I think the biggest thing is that I'm always trying to find what other guys are doing and try to do more, or try to just continue to find new things that I can do to make myself better. I think that's probably been the biggest thing that I've learned is every year there's always something that you can continue to get better at, even if you're good at it. And I think that that's the biggest thing. And I've been really fortunate because we've had phenomenal leaders. So like guys like Z and Recchi, mentioned earlier, and Bergeron and Kelly and Thornton and Campbell in the past, who they just work harder. And that's their biggest thing, is just working, competing every day. And I just think that when you have skill and talent, and you work on that, but if you have the talent and the skill, but your work ethic is better than everyone else's, then you're just going to continue to elevate above them. And I think that's what allows the top players to be the top players. And just what I've kind of learned is that the guys who stick around for 15 to 20 years, because their work ethic and their commitment is above everyone else's. Where guys that are really good for a couple of years, it's because they're really good because their talent levels above everyone else's, but they get surpassed because guys come in with better work ethic and they get pushed down. And once they realize that they need to work hard, they don't know how. They've never had to before, and they don't know how to truly work to the capacity the other guys have. And what I think happens is you don't get better from like one summer or 2 summers. It takes like years to build something and to build that foundation. And those guys that haven't done it, they don't have enough time left to get back or to get the same level as everyone else. So that's kind of where my mindset's been and what I've tried to do. And just trying to find out what everyone's doing coming in and try to keep doing more than them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of weird things, but one that I just found, I think it's really cool. Do you hope that your kids will play hockey?
I don't really care if, like, I just want them to do what they want to do. Luckily, they enjoy it right now, and they both skate and play. But I mean, if they want to play tennis, or my wife likes to play tennis, and if they want to do that, or if they want to do anything, I really don't care, as long as they're happy, and they enjoy what they do, because that's, I think at the end of the day, I mean, the percentage of people that make it is so small that I don't want to base any decision that they're going to make it, at a young age on what their potential future and it could be. It's all what you play and you do things, whether it's art. Like, my kids love to do art. If they want to be artists, that's great too. So it's whatever they want to do that makes them happy.
Happiness is the only thing that matters in the end of the day.
Exactly. That's right.
What's your favorite off-ice experience with the Bees?
Some pretty cool ones we had were we went to Ireland, Belfast, Prague, and China as a group. And I mean, yeah, they were Prague is incredible, and it's just a different world down there. So that was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun off the ice there, and to be able to experience, history and culture like that. Same with China. We get to go to the Great Wall, and that was mind blowing. So, I mean, those are pretty cool experiences that I probably never would have had without hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these are, I'm trying to see. I think I found one that I found kind of cool. What's your favorite nickname on the team?
Right now, I think there's a one Clanimal for Clifton. And it just kind of came out because Cliffy, like he's a really solid guy. Like we were calling him Animal, and then Clifton, and then it became Clanimal, and then it became Cleast for Clifton and Beast. So I just goofy, but we don't really have many outside of that. I mean, there's Jack Gashawn on our team. He's a new kid coming up. They call him Akon. Like, we don't have that many that are too far outside the box.
If you could eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Apple pie. I love apple pie.
Great choice.
I mean, I don't think that would ever get old. That's the biggest thing, right? If you're gonna have something forever, like, you can't get old.
No.
I think anything healthy is gonna get old, so you might as well go with some junk food.
Yeah.
One question's asking, how is your relationship with Bergie?
Great. We're best friends together every day, and always go to dinner. And when we get time, we go for walks during the day to kill time. So yeah, we're really close.
Another question I see here is, did you like the distribution of teams for the divisions this year, especially since we don't play the Habs?
Yeah, I mean, considering the situation, I think they did a really good job. What's great about is the travel is so easy. Like, I think the farthest flight we have is like an hour to Buffalo or to Jersey or something like that. The only thing that I would not want to do this moving forward is, like, it's fun to go on the road. Like when we go to LA, sometimes we have like 5 days in LA. We had 4 days in Vegas last year, I think. Like, oh, not only did we have 4 days in Vegas, we had 3 days to start in Arizona, in Scottsdale, which I don't know if you guys have ever been there, but that's a party city. And then we had 4 days in Vegas, and obviously we went a 3-day bender there. So, I mean, those are things that we missed out on. We had 5 days in Santa Monica one year in LA. Like, those are the things that we miss out on if we do that. Plus, not only that, then we're stuck in Long Island, which sucks. Jersey, which sucks. And New York's nice, but like, there's nothing to do in Jersey. There's nothing to do in New York. In Long Island, there's nothing in Buffalo. There's not a whole lot in Pittsburgh. So, like, when you take out, if we're stuck in a place for 4 or 5 days, I'd rather be out west in some of the nice cities compared to out east here in some of these cities. So just stuff like that, I wouldn't want to do it moving forward. But for this year, the travel, since we're not allowed to go to restaurants, we can't, like every dinner we have to Uber Eats in and stuff like that. So, for convenience of travel, it's nice this year.
Yeah.
I like this question. What's your favorite comeback that you've tweeted to haters?
I don't even know any of them. I haven't done any in a while, but I don't even remember. Like, I don't come back to haters are things that I really think about. They're just more in the moment. I'm bored. Like, I'll be on the road or something, I'll be stuck in my room, and I'll just go on, fire a couple off just to kill time, get a good laugh, and then leave people stirring. So to be honest, I literally can't remember one that I fired off, but I'm sure if you go on Twitter, you could see some good ones.
Oh yeah. Who has the best flow on the team?
Anders Bjork, when he was here, had pretty good flow. He's not here now. I mean, Sean Corrali's hair is short, but I like his haircut. It's kind of odd to say. Other than that, I mean, we don't have many guys with great hair. I mean, I love Grizzy, and I like he's got the Peaky Blinders look going. So I like that one. Other than that, I mean, I think those are probably the top ones.
Gotcha.
Do you have any others that you
Oh God, not off the top of my head right now.
Yeah, I know, you put me on the spot too.
I know it's
guys' hairs it's not typically what I'm thinking about day to day.
I mean, you're not watching all your players' haircuts?
I'm going. I bet your ass I will tomorrow. I'll be with them. They're picking them apart.
All right, I think we have time for one more question.
Trying to find one good one that someone's putting in.
Let's see.
They're all coming in quick.
I know. Let's go back to here. Let's see. Tell us about your hunting brand.
Yeah. So so with that, it was Kevin and I. We both like to hunt, and not just hunt, but like we like to fish and just like to be outside. So we were sitting on the bus one day and just talking about some trips that we had planned. We always try to do one at the end of the year, or one or two at the end of the year, maybe one throughout the summer, and then one before the season starts. And I mean, I'll be completely honest. It started because we just were like, let's start it and run as a business and see if we can get hooked up with some trips and stuff like that, and cut our costs down. And then it kind of it grew. Like, to do that, you had to have a legit business. You have to have income coming in within a certain amount of years. So we created t-shirts and hats, and then it kind of blew up and took a life of its own. So it was typically just supposed to just be a clothing company, but now we bought like a whole hunting operation in Canada where we sell guided hunts, and we've working on potentially a TV show here now. We came up with one on Nessen, but that was more, we had already released a few videos on YouTube just to kind of play around with and promote the brand a little bit. And they came to us and said, hey, like, do you want to put these on TV? So they weren't even made for TV. They were just something we did playing around. So we try to throw them together to put on TV. But now we're actually, talking about doing a legit hunting show on TV, hunting and fishing. So it's more something that we're trying to set up for retirement, however far down the road that is, something we can play with now, and then something to play with when we're done, where we can put some more time into it. But it's been awesome. It's opened a ton of doors, and we've met a lot of really cool people. So it's been fun.
Yeah, that'll be good, especially because like I know that's another like one of your other interests outside of hockey. So being able to continue with something.
Yeah, and that's kind of that's how it all started too, because a lot of guys, I mean, the average career is like 3 or 4 years in the league. So most guys, like, I didn't go to college. I don't have any college degree. Like, I don't have any interest other than really hunting. And I love real estate, but that's a different animal. But to do something that I enjoy as a job, like, I'm not qualified for anything outside of hockey. So it's just trying to find something that I liked, and I try to plan for that for retirement, so that when we're done, you're not just sitting on your butt doing nothing. I mean, you got to have a purpose, and might as well try to do something that you enjoy and you love. And that's a big reason why we got into it too.
Awesome. So sadly, it's time that we have to wrap this up. Brad, we know you have a game tomorrow at 7 playing against the Pens. I want to wish you, good luck. Hopefully, go top Sally for us, But is there anything else that you want to say before you leave with us tonight, or you leave us?
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys for having me. Wish you guys all the best in your future endeavors, and hope everybody stays safe and stays healthy, and again, all the best in the future.
Thank you. See you on the screen.
Awesome. It was good to talk to Brad.
Yeah, you as well. Thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun. I had a good time.
Of course. All right, students, if you want to stay tuned, we have one more announcement for you coming up on here. So just stay tuned for that. And thanks, guys. Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.